thought I would share kind of my snowman assembly process here. Today I'm going to be also working on these, they're different size, I can't remember the mold number and I can't turn them over at the moment, but more beautiful little snowmen from CPI. The original ones were these guys here, they're single 1-to-a mold, and then the newer mold has two other snowmen different sizes. And what I usually do is I start by sifting some white powder into the snowman body part. And the reason I do that is because sometimes white frit, just the white on white, can look a little, oh, you can see the outlines of the frit. So I thought, well, maybe adding the powder will help. So far I've been real happy with how they've been turning out. But I put a little bit of powder, I just sifted into the bodies. And then first I lay down a layer of fine clear frit into the icicle part. But I don't put too much in there because I'm going to add these guys, some of the dichroic flakes. I'm working with all 96 today. But anyway, this is how I get started. So in this step, I'm adding the dichroic flakes. Here I've already done a couple. And I do want to add, having a turntable is great for something like this because you can just move your project as you go. It doesn't take very much of this stuff. I'm just going to tap a little bit in down the length of the icicle. I just opened a new tube, and I do believe the first tube I was able to get probably, I'm going to guess around a dozen or so. I think I've made between 12 and 16 of these guys, the longer ones. But anyway, when I add the dichroic flakes, that's all I'm doing is just adding a nice little layer, and I'm going to cover that next with clear medium. Now that the dichroic flakes have been added, I'm going to add some clear medium frit. You can use a little scoop, there's just a little measuring spoon. What I like to use is a straw that's had the end cut. You can use a spoon, all kinds of tools you can use to do this part with, but all I'm going to do is scoop out some, and I could probably even just tap the edge of the cup into the cavities. But same thing as before, I'm just going to add the clear frit and fill these guys in, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to add white into the bodies. So I usually will do the icicle part first. No particular reason I go in that order, I guess, but it's been easy to follow the same process. And I'm going to fill them basically level with the top, but I'm not going to fill them completely full yet. I'm going to come back, add the white into the bodies, and then I'll kind of tap everything down with a finger chip and just top it off. You can weigh these out, and you probably should weigh them out the first time you make them. After doing a few of them, I just pretty much eyeball them at this point. Okay, now that I've added the clear into the icicle portions, and again, they're not totally full, but I'm going to top them off before I fire them. I'm going to add the white into the bodies, and I am using fine. Let me double check that. Yep, I have some white Ouroboros fine. And for this part, the little measuring spoon or any kind of little small spoon works well. Basically, I am just going to get this into camera range. And just add, and I will show you something, a tip around the post part of it. So at that point, I think I have enough white in there. I'm just going to tap that down, but what I want to do is not have it super full around where the post is. And I find that if I don't brush a little bit away, what'll happen is it'll either fuse over that and you'll have to kind of poke through that either with a drill bit or Dremel or something. I've also heard some folks have had trouble breaking the posts off. I've not had any issue, but again, I always tend to brush a little bit away. So I kind of want to have a little bit of a divot there. I am going to come back and add some clear over all this once I tap these down, but I'll show you what they look like when they're all filled. So here are all the snowmen ready to go into the kiln. As you can see, I've tapped them off. Some of them could probably use even just a little bit more. I try to fill them pretty much level with the mold. Tap those down, brush away any excess. Again, be careful when you brush away that you don't get any zip from the mold mixed in with your Snowman Frit. Also, as you're brushing away from those posts, you want to be careful because you don't want to disturb the zip that's in there as well. But I do zip these. I usually have the the water-based zip. The two new ones, I did use the aerosol on yesterday because I wanted to just get them coated and have them dry quicker. But if you use a Preval sprayer or something similar with the water-based, it'll dry pretty fast as well. But anyway, these I'm going to put in the kiln. I'll share my schedule that I use in the notes here at the end. I don't use the exact same one as CPI. I've tried a couple different things, and this one that I post works for me. Again, always remember all kilns are different, and you'll want to test before you stick with any one certain schedule. Some may be too hot, some may be too long, some may not be enough. So try it out with a schedule that works for you. But if you have a casting schedule that works, it will probably work on these as well. But anyway, I thought I would share how I make my snowman, and I'll post some pictures of what they look like coming out of the kiln. Thanks for watching.